In this video, I will be looking at more symbols, patterns, figures, decorations, and narrative paintings that can be found in Korean temples. I have made a previous video exploring this, which you can find on my channel. So this is in a way a part 2 on the subject. The 4 musical instruments. The bronze bell, bomjong, helps to guide the beings of heaven and hell. It is struck 28 times at dawn and 33 times at sunset. 28 represents the 28 heavens, and 33 refers to the opening of the doors to the Tushita heaven for the 33 celestial beings, the Devas. The Dharma drum, bopko, is used to transmit Buddha's teachings and guide and liberate living creatures on the land. It's also used to signal that it's time for a meeting or a ceremony in the temple. The wooden fish, mokko, is used to guide living beings in the sea. It's also used to signal either time for a meeting or a meal. Also, it represents being alert at all time, like a fish with its eyes that are always opened. The cloud gong, unpan, is used to guide and liberate flying beings and souls. It's used to signal the time for meals in temples. Palsangdo, the 8 scenes. These paintings illustrate the life of the Sakyamuni Buddha. Note that not all scenes are presented exactly the same. The first scene is the Bodhisattva Chandragupta descending from the Tushita heaven. This was the previous incarnation of the Sakyamuni Buddha. The second scene is the birth of Prince Siddhartha Gautama. The third scene is Prince Siddhartha leaving his home and passing through the 4 doors. In the fourth scene, Siddhartha leaves the palace walls and leaves his family. The fifth scene shows the prince in Mount Imavat, the personification of the Himalayas. There, Siddhartha meditates, punishes and disciplines his body. The sixth scene is where Siddhartha defeats the demon Mara and all the temptations that he tried to seduce and trick Siddhartha with. Following this, Siddhartha attains enlightenment. The seventh scene is about Buddha teaching and diffusing the Dharma for the first time in the deer garden. He teaches to 5 bhikkhu. Bhikkhu are ordained male in Buddhist monasticism. The 8th and final scene shows Buddha entering nirvana. The 10 Simudo, ox herding murals. In the murals, we find an ox and an ox herding boy. It's a story about how one can find the true appearance of its mind and finding the truth, the Dharma. The boy is meant to represent us, and the ox is meant to represent our mind. It's mainly found in Sun or Zen Buddhism temples. In the first mural, the boy is looking for the ox. The boy's training begins. In the second mural, the boy finds the ox's footprints. The boy, and thus we, are confused at the real appearance of one's mind, at pain and suffering. In the third mural, the boy finds the ox. We are getting closer to the real appearance of the mind and realizing that through hard work, one can find his true mind. The fourth mural shows the boy capturing the ox. One can find his true nature, but struggles to transcend passions and desires. The fifth mural shows the boy taming the ox. The struggle is almost finished, but one must stay vigilant and stay focused. In the sixth mural, the boy is seen riding the ox back home. Illusions disappear, and one is in control of his mind. This is the way to attain one's true nature, called Buddhahood. In the seventh mural, the ox is gone, forgotten, and only the boy remains. The self is no more ego, only stillness. In the 8th mural, the ox and the boy are forgotten. Only the circle remains, emptiness, realization that everything comes from nothing. The 9th mural shows the return to the source, or origin. The original clear mind remains. Things are what they actually are, be it the mind, or mountains, or trees. The truth of life is found. The last mural is the return to society. The boy, who is now much older, returns to teach what he has learned. The Apsaras. The Apsaras are beautiful maidens that fly around the Buddhist heavens, playing instruments, dancing, and sprinkling flowers while praising the Buddha. The Gandharvas and Kinnaras, who are part of the 8 supernatural beings, are archetypes of Apsara. In coming to China and then Korea, the Apsaras have taken the maiden form found in Taoist myth. When looking at an Apsara, one is meant to feel the figure come to life and hear the musical notes ascending to heaven. They can be found on bells to better illustrate this idea. The fish. The fish is associated with tranquility and the lack of impediments associated to nirvana, the end of suffering and rebirths. It's commonly represented by the carp that we can find swimming in some temples. The wind chime can be adorned with a fish, and its movements in the wind is unhindered. The fish's eyes are opened when asleep and awake, reminding monks to always be alert while meditating and never doze off. The fish is thus a symbol of constant diligence and alertness. Fish is also associated with transformation. Some Buddhist saints and deities transform into fish to save humanity. As a matter of fact, in one of Buddha's former lives, he was transformed into the king of the Makaras, a massive fish that offered himself up as food to save people from starvation. The Supreme Ultimate, or Great Absolute. The Supreme Ultimate stems from the yin-yang concept, 2 primordial forces that are separate yet dependent upon one another. In Buddhism, it represents the principles and beliefs of reciprocity and interfusion. It's usually represented as a double teardrop with 2 dots. Another triple dot symbol can also be found. This represents heaven, earth, and humankind, colored red, blue, and yellow. The yin-yang concept is typically associated to Neo-Confucianism in Korea, but it has also been integrated in Korean Buddhism. In Neo-Confucianism, the Supreme Ultimate is the origin of the multiple forms found in the universe. It's the source of human life and its perpetuity. In Buddhism, Buddha nature, called Buddhata, is the unbending and eternal nature of things. Both the Supreme Ultimate and the Buddhata convey the intrinsic nature of human existence. The 12 Spirit Generals. The 12 Spirit Generals are basically the animals found in the Chinese zodiac. They are the serpent, the horse, the sheep, the monkey, the rooster, the dog, the boar, the rat, the ox, the rabbit, the dragon, and the tiger. In Buddhism, they are usually represented clad in armor and bearing arms, having human-like bodies with the faces of the animal they represent. In Korea, the animals are also represented wearing robes. The 12 Spirit Generals vow to protect the Buddha's teachings, more specifically the Yaksa Bull, also known as the Healing Master, the Buddha of the Pure Land of the Eastern Paradise. He made 12 great vows upon attaining Buddhahood, and for each one, a spirit general is associated. The circle. The circle symbolizes the Dharma, the cosmic law and order found in the teachings of the Buddha. The Dharma is basically the truth. The only way to understand the truth is to use the circle as a contemplative technique that can help one gain insight into the truth. Words cannot approach the truth. The circle is used to help one approach it. The circle is a continuous connection of points without beginning or end. The circle has 3 states. Perfectly complete refers to the state of absolute equanimity. Perfectly penetrating refers to the realm of enlightenment experienced by Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. Perfectly empty refers to the illusory nature of things. In many temples, we can find a circle with 3 dots inside, which symbolizes the 3 jewels of Buddhism: the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha. Sangha is a term that refers to Buddha's disciples. The altar. The statues of Buddha in the Dharma halls are found on altars called Puldan or Sumidan in Korean. They are adorned with many of the symbols and things we previously discussed, but also with peonies, white elephants, shrimps, and waterfowl like ducks or cranes. These birds are comfortable in or out of water and represent freedom. White elephants and peonies represent good luck. A lot of these elements can be found in traditional Korean art and folk art, minhwa. In the Buddha hall, installed over Buddha's statue, is found a small wooden canopy. It's called datjip in Korean. A separate house built inside a house, a celestial canopy. It's like a small palace. There are 3 types: cloud palace, treasure palace, and bejeweled canopy. Flowers on the ceilings. The flowers on the ceilings of temples represent the moment white and red lotus flowers of many sizes showered down from heaven after Buddha's sermon on Vulture Peak. These flowers are referred to as celestial flowers. Latticework. Latticework in temples is generally complex and shows the skill of the carver. It shows reverence to the Buddha as well as embellishes the various halls found in the temple complex. The most common is the flower latticework called Kotsalmun. Pine trees can be found and symbolize integrity, long life, and refinement. Interestingly, in the early days of Buddhism, flower vases were used to represent Buddha, as well as stupas, diamond throne, Bodhi tree, and the Dharma wheel. The Vajra, which literally means thunderbolt in Sanskrit, is a ritualistic weapon with the properties of the diamond and the thunderbolt. In Buddhism, it represents the firmness of the spirit and spiritual power. It's held in the right hand and is a male symbol. It's usually accompanied by a ritual bell. The bell is a female symbol and represents wisdom. The Vajra is a weapon of Indra, the Hindu king of the Devas, heavenly beings. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. You can also join my channel, which would be greatly appreciated. Stay tuned for more videos on the rich history of Korea.